Live from the Motor City, all the way to the Volunteer State. It's time for the Reckless Speculation Podcast, where we recklessly speculate the latest news in the world of sports. From college football to NASCAR, we've got you covered. And don't forget to stick around for the world-famous Bet Your Nuts, where we will give you your best bets to make the most money. Now sit back, grab your favorite drink of choice, and join Robbie Davis, Raj Mehta, Brandon Chain, and Tom Sloan. It's showtime.
Welcome everyone to Reckless Speculation. As the intro alluded to, I will say those of you who work or are watching on YouTube or whatever media you're watching on, I like my picture much better this time. I hope that was a surprise Tom said he had for me. But yes, welcome here. It's July 20th. We're coming at you on a Thursday, rounding out the midway point of the year. And don't get too excited just yet, but boys and girls, football season is almost back, and we are looking forward to it. Before we talk about that, I want to introduce everyone to the show. Tom Sloan from Detroit, welcome.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I will say that intro video to Detroit does make Detroit look pretty damn nice.
Well, Detroit is pretty damn nice these days. If you ever would come and visit, I think you would be pleasantly surprised. But, the past two shows you've talked about how you had your chipmunk-esque picture. So I decided to do a little changes to the video. So hopefully you enjoyed that one.
And then I was in a suit and tie. Brandon was in a tux. An intro to Brandon Chain. Welcome.
Oh yeah,
Tom, you never cease to amaze me. I don't know where you dug that picture up of me, but it was pretty awesome.
Where was that picture? Do you know where it was, Brandon?
There may have been.
It must have been a wedding, and I'm pretty sure I was drunk at that point. So yeah, I have no idea.
I was looking for some new pictures, and I just, of course, I'm trolling on Facebook, and I seen that. I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the one. So, and Robbie doesn't have much social media presence, we'll say. So that was about the best I could find from your.
Hey! I just learned how to share some stuff on Instagram. I've never posted on Instagram. I just learned how to share it. So pretty big achievement for me. As we know, at this point of the show's lifetime, Raj is late, so we'll introduce him at time to be determined.
And he's not in the green room yet, so.
Yeah, and so we're brought
hopefully
to
soon.
you. Yeah, so the show's brought to you by some sponsors we have, C&W Construction. Anytime you need a house built, additions, remodels, pools, any kind of work done to make your house look better, at this stage in the game, if you owned your house prior to 2020, you have tons of equity in it and a great mortgage rate. So if you want to take out, I'm not giving financial advice, but just saying you have money to spend. Also brought to you by the law firm of Davis, Kessler and Davis, premier personal injury firm. As you can see, that is my picture. So disclaimer, I am one of the attorneys there, but hopefully you never need us. Hopefully you never get hurt. But if you do, please call. So guys, we talked about it almost being football time, and football's in the news. Before we get to that, though, I want to say congratulations to at least on paper billionaire, new billionaire in California, won the Powerball. And then there's another billionaire that got richer and richer, and that's Dan Snyder. And so before we talk about the players, I want to touch briefly, guys. The sale of the Commanders has been approved. What do you think this does for the Washington, D.C. football market? And because, no one would build him a stadium. That stadium, from what I've heard, is crap. I've never been there. It seems to be more away fans than home fans. Just Tom, briefly, what do you make of the news of the Commanders being this? We knew it was going to happen, but now it looks to be official.
I think it's great for the NFL. I think Dan Snyder was such a stain on ownership in general. So the fact that he is now no longer an owner, and the NFL gave him a $60 million bill out his way out the door for sexual harassment. So that won't faze him in the least. But all in all, I think it's good. It's great for the the Washington football team, I'll call them. I do believe this now will lead to a new stadium, maybe somewhere, maybe Virginia. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity with this new ownership to work with local dignitaries or whatnot to get them more involved and get their name, rightfully so, back where it belongs.
Yeah, and I think they should go back to the football team. Brandon, what are your thoughts briefly about the Commanders being sold and it being approved unanimously? All 31 other owners wanted him out.
Everyone wanted this, right? I mean, owners and the heads and fans alike. It just eliminates distraction. Let's just get back to football and quit all this sideshow bullshit. And let's get back to football. So I think they've got a good chance of getting a new stadium now under this ownership. So I'm looking forward to it. And their team's not half bad right now. I mean, they're building on it. So we'll see where they go.
Right.
All right. So it was sold for over $6 billion. Snyder bought it, and I think it was 1999 for $800 million. Wow. Not bad value there.
Pretty good return.
Yeah. And talking about value, let's talk about what the football we grew up on, and especially Tom, especially you being a Detroit fan, the best player at least when we were growing up, or at least one of them, Barry Sanders, the running back for the Lions. Brandon and I had Eddie George. We now have Derrick Henry. There was a Chris Johnson era. The Titans have been a running football organization since they've been in Nashville. There's news today. Last couple days, Saquon Barkley's talking about sitting out if there's no contract and he won't accept the franchise tag. I'll get into some of the legality of the franchise tag in a second. But Brandon, starting with you, what do you make of just the way, and this isn't just, this is football in general, but when we played, or you played more than I did, running back was a huge position. That's how you move the football. The game has changed, and the value of the running back is only above the kicker and punter right now. So I guess, what do you make about this?
It's a sad day. Like you said, we grew up on that, toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder, cloud of dust, get 3 yards, and that was kind of how we grew up watching football. It's unfortunate for these guys, or almost kids now, how I'm getting so damn old, that they put everything they have into it, and then they expect to get paid and have some appreciation showed toward them. And that's not happening right now. And unfortunately, running back in now's NFL is almost plug and play. I mean, you can get a rookie running back that's somewhat halfway decent that can run the offense, maybe not as good as the top guys, but halfway decent, and it's a value move. So it sucks for them. I don't think Saquon's going to sit out, though. I'm pretty sure he'll not take the Le'Veon Bell route.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, when you and I played at North Junior High School, was the kind of height of Nebraska football, and the idea of not running the ball and not the triple option.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
in
it's
this how it's
power
gone
eye,
now
triple
to
option all day.
yeah, and then now it's gone to just yeah, just hey, I mean, Cordell Patterson is now one of the top running back play, and he was a receiver in college. So you just hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're an athlete. We just need you to get the ball and move.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that's where it's headed. You're going to see these players, these running backs that can stay on the field all day and actually play in the slot and
Yeah,
move formation and catch the ball. It's not between the tackles anymore like it used to be.
is forever is a long time, so I don't want to say that. But for the foreseeable future, is Derrick Henry the last power back we're going to see for a while?
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
You're starting to see again, and that's what we're getting into the whole value of these top 5, top 8 running backs that are not getting extensions and they're getting tagged because of
Mhm.
that situation.
Yeah. And Brandon, you hinted on you don't think he's going to do what Le'Veon Bell did. Let's hear what he had to say. And then, Tom, I want you to comment on the other side of that.
I could say fuck you to the Giants. I could say fuck you to my teammates and be like, you want me to show you my worth? You want to show you how valuable I am to the team? I won't show up. I won't play it down. And that's a play I can use. Anybody knows me knows that's not something I want to do. But like it's something that crossed my mind. It's like I never thought I would ever do that, but like now I'm at a point where it's like Jesus, like I might have to take it to this level. And like, am I willing? Am I prepared to take it to the level? I don't know. That's something I got to sit down and like I got to talk to my family. I got to sit down, talk to my team. Got to really strategize about this. Can't just like go off of emotions because like I sit here and say like, oh, be mature.
So, Tom, to me, as a person who has to get into many mediations, many negotiations, that looked to me like somebody who was just negotiating without a plan. When he said "fuck my teammates," and then I think his eyes or his light bulb immediately went off when like, whoa, I got to try to walk this back, but still try to make my point that I wanted to make, but it's not going well. And so, Tom, refresh people's mind. What happened with Le'Veon Bell when he set out and how that worked out for him? What do you think Saquon's going to do?
Well, Le'Veon Bell, when he played for the Steelers, he was at that time probably the most unique, dynamic running back in the NFL. His ability to kind of sniff out holes and be patient. I don't think I've seen a back with the level of patience he had to where he let the hole develop. He let the play develop and he took off. So he decided he was going to, push for a big time contract. And he sat out for an entire season. The following year, he got picked up by the Jets, and he was not the same player. And it only got worse from there. I think he was probably half of what he was the previous 2 years. So looking at that situation and then seeing a Barkley here, it's a bad look. No whether you sugarcoat it, it's a bad look for him to even quote "fuck my teammates." I don't think that's initially what he meant when he said it, but it's always going to be perceived that way. It makes him look like it's all about the New York Saquon Barkleys, not the New York Football Giants. So, will he sit out a year? Absolutely not. There's no way. The fact that he's being offered the franchise tag, which is $2 million less than what the top running back in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey's making. So he's not far off. So I think it's a moot argument on his behalf because the reality is the running back position really has changed in a sense that we have these young offensive coordinators coming in, drawing up plays for the more athletic type of player, the Isaiah Pacheco's of the world, Dameon Pierce. So these lower or higher draft picks, I should say, later rounds coming in, not making as much money, but performing at a level to say that some of these big time running backs can make. So I think that's where we're shifting. I think the NFL has shifted. So that could be one of the reasons why.
All right, we need a reckless speculation bell. We can push it and sound the alarms. I'm getting us off topic. Something just came to my mind while we're discussing this. We talked about the running back. We just said it. The running backs own so real quick. The way the franchise tag works is if you are unrestricted free agent, the club can franchise you, and they have to pay you the average salary of the top 5 players of your position over the last 5 years. The running back position is the only position in the sport that has went down over the last 5 years. So their value is going down. With that being said, with this running back union thing, so this is the franchise tag was negotiated between the NFL Players Union and the Owners Union. This is collectively bargained. This was talked about. This was all agreed upon by the players and the owners. This is not unfair. This is a negotiated agreement. So, my question to you guys is this. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, name your running backs. They're making $10 million a year for the franchise tag. Is this a window that the XFL could exploit and say, we'll pay you more, you come over to our league and we'll get name recognition, we'll get talent recognition, because they're not getting any traction so far. Could this be, because that's what the AFL did back in the day, is they start paying Steve Young more money, I think Bo Jackson more money. Out of college, could this, if you're running backs in college, do you start deflecting for more money to the XFL? Whoever's prepared.
No.
I mean, potentially, yeah. This is like the whole Live versus PGA Tour kind of deal. Like, they're going to start throwing more money at you, but what are you really trying to do? Are you trying to play in the best league? Or are you trying to just, get paid?
Or are you trying to get paid more? Yeah.
No, I get that, but it's not like they're not getting paid. I mean, like you said, the franchise tag's $2 million off the highest paid running back. Yes, it has declined. But that's just the nature of it. It's like the stock market. It eventually it could come back around. So, I get it. They work their butts off, and they probably get hit more than anyone else on the team, and they do so much in the trenches, but it's not like they're getting an unfair payment. Just like you said, it was a collective bargaining agreement, and they're getting paid, and $2 million off the highest paid guy. It's not that bad. I don't know.
I guess my point is, if you're The Rock and you just bought the whole entire XFL for $30 million,
but he lost 60.
A guy's. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the league's not working. None of them are working.
Yeah.
So
and they won't.
I agree. I agree with that premise.
They're not going to work.
No.
Like I agree, because like the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, none of them can compete with NFL.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
another superior
how are
football
you
league
going to try to play football against the best thing in the world in sport? Like, it's not going to happen.
Well,
so Tom,
I think for me, this isn't going to work simply because it's going to create a mutiny with the other positions on the field. So if you're paying a running back, 12, 13 million, but then your quarterback's making 100 and a quarter at top value, we'll say, and receivers and whatnot, it's going to be a hard pill to try and push through with certain players. So, and again, I mean, they took a $60 million hit. There's not a whole lot of TV ratings. They don't have the backing, we'll say. But, I mean, I think this is a different day and age of football. Back in the USFL days, it was a good product. I remember going to the Silverdome and watching the Panthers, watching Bobby Hebert throwing to Anthony Thomas. So that was good football, and it was comparable to the NFL. Mm-hmm. I don't think we have that. NFL is king. We've said it time and time on this show. Nothing's going to top the NFL. So I think that would be a really tough draw, and essentially the running backs know that. Their argument's going to fall on deaf ears.
Well, and they're kind of stuck in transition right now, right? So we're getting word of this, and it's actually starting to come to fruition that the running back position is declining as far as pay, right? So you got to adapt or die in this league, right? So if you're a younger kid and you're aspiring to be a running back in the NFL, know what you're going to get or adapt and, be a little bit more versatile. So it sucks for the guys that are stuck there that work their butts off to, improve their team and make that position. But it's just the way the league is going. And it's like if you don't adapt to it, you're going to get left behind. But they're not getting bad pay with a franchise tag.
And just before I go to Raj, just a little legal nerdy stuff real quick to clear it up. The running backs can't union within their already union because if they were negotiating higher pay against the salary cap, it would kill the larger union that they're a part of. Their pay would go down. So this is all.
You can't sub-unionize against the
It's cute. It's it's something else to talk about.
This is called social media and just Twitter and that's all.
But them on a group text together talking about what they want to do, you can't do it in the confines of the union you're already a part of.
That was already agreed upon on the franchise tag and everything else, so you knew what you're signing up for.
Raj, thanks for being on time as always.
You're welcome.
You want to talk about running backs? We want to go to D-Hop to the Titans.
Real quick, I'm not sure if you explained when it comes to the tag that it's a set amount and it's based on the annual cap, the salary cap. This year it's the highest it's ever been. But you showed that graphic and I took the time to write it down because I think writing it down is a lot more impactful, even though no one can see it. But really, when I lined it up and looked,
you should write down 9:15 start time.
Hey,
that would be so impactful.
Underline, exclamation point, highlight.
I think you guys like my art, Spec podcast. But for real, if you look at all of this, only kickers and punters are valued less than running backs. And running backs' career average is 2.57 years in the NFL. So these guys maybe have 2-3 years that we talked about of max value, and they can be tagged up to 3 times. So really, it's the rare case, and I'm not sure if Tom showed that tweet that I had seen but one former GM basically said that the MO should be 1, draft a running back, 2, play him, 3, if he's good, give him 1 franchise tag, 4, draft another running back. It's a 3 to 4 year process, and that's it. And that's their half-life. And if they get tagged, that's it. Guys like Saquon, who, however, is 19-40-1 in his record. I don't think that shows the value of him per se because the Giants have sucked. But I was just curious about it, and I wrote it down. But Josh Jacobs, the NFL's rushing leader, Tony Pollard, who I think everyone knows is just going to destroy things. And he's got 1 shot. And if he gets hurt, that's it for him. That's done. Those guys are set making that amount of $10 million. And again, tight ends are valued more. Safeties, offensive linemen, corners, defensive ends, wide receivers, linebackers, and of course, the princess. So anyways, that's my art. When you look at all the way down here, and this is rhetorical, but when we draft fantasy, we don't draft defensive ends in the first round. We draft running backs because they're the most valuable to our league and to scoring and to our teams. And I'm going to write down 9:15 p.m. Eastern.
Well,
Once I write it down, I do not forget. But
you
no, man, it's just crazy.
you don't have to be apologizing for being late when you show up with this handwritten chart that we just
this is
showed
beautiful.
6 times.
No,
beautiful.
This is called perspective. I don't read anything you write or say or put on the screen. So now I know. You can ask me right now, what does a defensive end franchise tag value and a wide receiver? 19.7 million.
What the viewers don't know, when he flips that board over, it has our next topic, D-Hop to the Titans.
I'm not sure what's on the other side yet.
So Brandon, I'll start with you. You and I are both Titans fans. I guess 2 drafts ago, I think it was. Or was it 2 drafts or 1 draft ago? We traded AJ Brown. Now signing DeAndre Hopkins.
That would be 2 drafts because we just had this
2
one.
drafts ago. So now we're essentially trying to replace him with DeAndre Hopkins, who surprisingly, at least I thought, a little young at 30. What do you make of the move? I think we paid him 52.
I think he gets $12.5 million 2 years.
Okay, and then there's some incentives, but so 24 guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah. What do you make of the move?
It's best available option at this point. We got a new regime coming in. I think J-Rob, screwed the pooch on that AJ Brown trade, obviously. And Vrabel's not happy with it. I think they're trying to do everything they can to reshape that and give some weapons on the offensive side. I mean, before we got him, and this is a sad meme, but Vrabel had more touchdowns than any offensive wide receiver on our team with 10.
That's bad.
It's bad. So D-Hop, he played 9 games
last year. Those who don't know, Vrabel played linebacker.
Yeah, he played linebacker. So D-Hop had 700 plus yards last year in 9 games. He was suspended for the first 6. Did not see all of Kyler Murray. He was injured. So he's still got some gas in the tank. I don't think this is going to be like a Julio Jones or a Randy Moss type situation where we're just grabbing a guy on their way out for a jersey sale. This is an impactful player that still has. Obviously, he's number 1 from day 1. And with Derrick Henry, I think it pairs really well because they're still going to have to honor Henry in the backfield, and I think that's going to open up a lot of single coverage for D-Hop and some of the other guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this. Now it's not D-Hop, 5 years ago, but if he's 3/4 of D-Hop, that's better than what we got.
Yeah. And Raj, I'm coming to you next, but I just want to touch on what Brand said. Part of the watching Titans games, part of the frustration last year was on first down, we ran Derrick Henry every single first down, but there was no other option. No one was there to get open, and so what do you hope essentially the Titans' offense was keep giving. When we talk about death of the running back, the Titans were the one team or one of the few teams that were like, no, he's our only explosive player we have. So it was just give it to him until he breaks one.
D-Hop's going to make everybody better on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, Chig and Traylon Burks, this is the best thing that could happen to them at this point.
Yeah.
They're going to be wide open that they've never seen in their life. So it's going to be great.
Raj, we were on text all day today. You said you did a 180 on this. I wasn't in a team meeting on Monday to hear what you said. So I'm very curious where you started, what you found out, and where you stand now.
I just thought that when it comes to D-Hop, he wants to win, or so he said. And, there are teams that said they were after him, the Chiefs, which obviously would have made a ton of sense. And there's still one that I'm like, I don't know about the money. But, Dallas, Buffalo, in most of those situations, though, he was going to be the number 2 guy to Diggs, to Lamb, or what have you. This is a team that he's going to that has a veteran quarterback who is healthy. Last year, they had by far the worst offensive line in the NFL, by far. And what's the crazy thing is they were last not only in pressures per pass blocking attempts, by far the last. They were also last in yards before contact for running backs. And they have Derrick Henry. So what does that tell you? I mean, if they were just middle of the pack, Henry's getting hit an average of 2.5 yards downfield. Long story short, their offensive line was atrocious. They had no versatility. They were plugging holes. Their 2 best players are old that didn't play, and they decided Rand Carthen got rid of them. He got rid of Ben Jones. He got rid of Taylor Lewan. He went out and got a first-round pick in Andre Dillard from Philly, who got hurt and was beat out by a kid, Ciamalo, I think, that was just better. But Dillard can play 4 of the 5 positions. Daniel Brunskill from the Niners, 5 years playing, 4 of the 5 positions. Peter Skoronski, easily the best offensive lineman in the draft. He's going to probably slide into left guard. He can play all 5 positions. The strongest dude by far at the combine. The point being is they still have an issue at right tackle with the suspension of gambling for Petit Frere or whatever his name is. But their line got so much better. He can be the number 1. He's got 2 tight ends that are really good at blocking, both running and an up-and-coming Conquo. I can't ever remember how to say his name. And the guy they drafted was a great tight end, Josh Wild from Cincinnati. Yeah. So there's all of these pieces in place. And, he's going to get single, as Chain said. Everybody's got to key in on Derrick Henry. And, last year when D-Hop, he's only 30. Now, that being said, I looked it up, and in his first 8 seasons, he missed only 2 of 128 games. In the last 2 years, because they went to 17 out of 34 games, he's missed 15 of them. So it's also with a really crappy team with no protection. But when he's healthy, if you looked at it last year, I'll just break it down. But when Kyler Murray and he played, it was only in 4 games. During those 4 games, Hopkins averaged 96 yards per game and about 9 receptions. That 96 yards would have put him 3rd in the NFL. Ahead of him only would have been Justin Jefferson at like 106 and Tyreek Hill at 103 or something, 100. Then that would have been him. The point is, when he's healthy and he's got his quarterback and things are clicking, he is still someone that does major damage. And he's a hell of a guy in the locker room, and everybody loves him.
All right. So I want to address that. Tom, I want to come to you next. So I'm not blaming him for getting traded from Houston, because Houston under Bill O'Brien was a dumpster fire, and maybe the worst, not necessarily the worst game day coach, the worst personnel coach in a long, long time. But he goes to Houston or to Arizona, and now he gets just not traded, just released. Really, the Titans and New England are the only teams that want him. The team that has him releases him. Kind of. Are there question marks? Why wasn't he wanted more?
I don't take much into him being released, because the Cardinals are an absolute dumpster fire, and it starts from the top and it works all the way down, even to the quarterback. So I think they were looking to move on from some decisions that were made by the general manager that was just let go for some pretty auspicious reasons. But so I don't really take too much stock into that. So his ability is clear. I think Tennessee, when it's all said and done, they're going to look back and realize that they made the right move. And Brandon said it best with Treylon Burks. Here's the draft pick after AJ Brown gets traded. They bring this guy in. So you want to talk about a target on his back. I think this gives him the ability now to prove why they went out and got him so high. So he's going to get a lot of good reads. And looking at it from Hopkins' standpoint, Tennessee, it in all purposes, is somewhat of a smaller market. They're not on everyone's radar all the time. So he's going to be able to come in here, be able to show some of his veteran leadership, and he's going to be able to perform and kind of reclaim his name without the limelight being on him at full time. So I think this is a situation where it's good for Tennessee and it's really good for Hopkins. In the contract, really, there's a lot of incentives with it. So
Yeah.
I think it works out best for both sides.
All right. So around the cubes, one yes or no answer. Does Hopkins put the Titans as the favorite above the Jags in the AFC South? Yes or no, Tom?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yep.
Raj?
No, but it puts them in a winning record situation, whereas before I thought they would be off.
Okay. I still have the Jag. I still have the Jags as the favorite.
I'm not sold on Jacksonville yet. I like where they were last year, but Evan Ingram isn't signed. That was a big reason why old Goldilocks was so good last year. So
we should have won it last year, and we were terrible. So yes, this definitely
exactly.
Goldilocks, NFL quarterbacks, giving a little free advertisement to Netflix, which Tom can't spell properly, but so Quarterback is a show that is produced by Omaha Productions, I believe, by Tennessee's own homegrown quarterback, Peyton Manning, that follows Patrick Mahomes.
Rightfully didn't win the Heisman in '97, just saying.
Oh, gosh. Kirk Cousins and Marcus Mariota. So you have top tier, mid tier, and kind of
garbage.
Struggling to start. or garbage. I was going to say struggling to start, but okay.
No, garbage.
So, Raj won. Are you watching, or what do you think?
I just finished it, actually.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Spoiler alert. I'm on episode 3.
I mean, spoiler alert, Mahomes wins the Super Bowl, Cousins blows it, and Mariota gets benched again.
Shocker. I think we watched this last NFL season.
Yeah.
He hasn't signed in Philly, dude. So.
Hey, more surprising, Mahomes win the Super Bowl or Mariota getting benched?
Equally as not surprising.
and Cousins finishing right in the middle.
Yeah. Did you have him on your fantasy again this year? I think you did.
Oh, God.
The numbers
he
are
either threw like 20 interceptions or he threw for 400 yards. So
and we're going to talk about franchise quarterbacks, and I hope I don't draw bum Joe Burrows because I don't want to get into that. Tom, are you watching? What do you think about it?
Well, let me get to the misspelling of Netflix. A, that was autocorrect, so I apologize. But B, it's kind of fitting because they needed this. They needed this documentary to boost their
stock.
submissions.
I have stocks down 8% to this week, I think.
But so they started doing where only one device could use your account. Since then, they've got 6 million more subscriptions. So yes, the Netflix, and I think this quarterback documentary helped the Netflix of the Netflix. So there's a method to my madness. But anyways, I watched it. I thought it was very well done. I think it they kind of followed the pathway of like the Hard Knocks or the golf documentary, which was fantastic. But I think the one thing I took out of it was Kirk Cousins is probably the most annoying human being on the face of the earth. And if I never hear Patrick Mahomes speak again, I would not be disappointed because oh my gosh, it's just they got him mic'd up all the time. But
hello there,
I am Kermit the Frog. But no, I mean it was kind of a cool look behind the scenes preparation. I don't think any of us would have known, and I don't know if you're at this point in the documentary where the preparation that Mahomes has, the 3 days that he does with his personal trainer.
That's what I just watched.
It looks absolutely terrifying what he has to go through. But I mean, you look at the injury that he kind of got there in the playoffs against Jacksonville, and you wonder if not for that aggressive preparation, that aggressive training protocol that he does, maybe that high ankle sprain was a broken ankle and he wouldn't have continued. But I just think it was well done.
Yeah.
Another side note, leave the wife out of it. Keep it to the NFL. She is god awful, but I will give them credit for one thing.
I haven't got to the like everyone's saying how Mahomes' wife's annoying. I haven't found her annoying
She is.
yet.
Be prepared.
I'm only on okay.
But the one thing I will give them credit for, Jackson Mahomes wasn't mic'd at all. He's only in one episode, and he's kind of in the backdrop. So
he's still a douche, though. He was in a few
100%.
where he was sitting next to the wife, but he was just on his phone. And like one time he did a cheer, like in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, and he was just like, "I'm not even gonna do it." But I was like, "Is this guy fucking serious, man? Like, is he trying to be a fucking douchebag or like?" I don't know, man. Like he is just the worst. And yeah, the wife, his wife, is very like, bro, like wants to be fitting in.
Let's go. There's another thing. If I never hear that let's go, I think it needs to be put to bed. Just saying.
I agree.
I'll say so. I'm in episode 3, and I just watched what Tom was referencing. Yeah, this trainer and this workout routine, it's almost like they're changing the body a bit. Oh, ankles don't sprain anymore, and these bodies can twist ways that they couldn't before, and it's just like,
Brandon, what different that is anybody that's been through rehab, and it's been a while since I played any competitive sports. I mean, elasticity, mobility, flexibility, all that stuff is done, but the way he had it down to a science, that guy should have a Beachbody video for sure. Yeah. But Brandon, there's no doubt, man, that he, Tom, you're absolutely right. My neighbor, who used to be my neighbor, was launched 30 feet from a Ferrari. His passenger died. He didn't. He should have died. Wow. The only reason why he survived was that he was a CrossFit, like super fit, former Marine. Literally, he should have been dead. And his body is the only. Now, he has a terminal brain injury, and he's still a great dude, but if he was not doing the stuff he did, he would have died. His body would not have allowed him to rehabilitate and to survive and to be where he is. And that's exactly what I thought of without grave consequences of Mahomes. If he did not do what he does, like if Cousins had that high ankle sprain, aside from hearing, that too. Like he would never play again. And Mahomes, even though I've got feelings on him, he came back out there, and it's because of how freaking hard he works.
Brandon, what were your takeaways? What were your takeaways so far of the quarterback? Are you finished with it? Are you still watching it? Where are you at in the series?
I haven't watched it at all.
Oh, okay.
I was one of the fallen soldiers.
Yeah, I forgot. You're
piggybacking off of the family.
You can't afford Netflix.
No, I hadn't purchased Netflix because I was using the family's for quite a while, and once they cut that off, I just realized that I didn't watch Netflix that much and hadn't repurchased it.
It's like I don't know what it costs. I'm not even gonna comment. I have no idea.
I mean, it's like $10 or $12, $15. I don't know. It's not that. It's just I'm too lazy to get on there and click on it because I just have to watch Netflix.
You're not a nerd for those shows like QB1 and Last Chance U and stuff.
I don't watch a lot of shows, to be honest. Like and
I love it.
They don't have TVs and headrests and golf carts yet, Raj. Once they do, though.
They do. And
They just
if
play
they
like
don't, usually I'll bring my
Moana or something.
iPad and I'll put the TV on there. But it's usually watching golf, playing golf, which is disgusting in itself.
All right. So, from what do you got? What do you got? What do you got in your sticky notes over there, Raj?
Before we go on, I wanted to do this quickly. I wrote each of our names in a hat because the discussion became 27-year-old Patrick Mahomes. Is he the best quarterback in the NFL? Each of us. I drew a line, a draft order. 1 minute. We've got 1 minute. Here we go. First pick is producer extraordinaire Tom. I just drew it out. This says Scrooge McDuck. We know who that is. Then comes Blob at number 3. And then Daylight Savings. That's me. So, Tom, tomorrow you're starting a brand new franchise. You get one quarterback to pick in the NFL right now. Who do you take?
I mean,
Mahomes has got to be off the topic here.
Not Mahomes.
No, we're saying going forward. Mahomes is 27 with health issues. Josh Allen 27.
I don't care if he's 37. I'm taking
Okay.
it.
Yeah, give me Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes it is. Scrooge McDuck. Number 2. Who to start your franchise with tomorrow? Herbert.
Is that me or is that Brandon?
That's Brandon. He's Scrooge. He's money bags. The guy that coins are falling out of swimming in bullion or whatever. The youngest
Hurts.
Jalen Hurt.
Yep. Hurts me so bad.
He's
Hurts so good.
At 24. And we got Josh Allen, Herbert, or someone else.
There is no way I'm taking Joe Burrow. I can tell you that.
You are taking Joe Burrow.
Joey Bags, dude. I forgot about Joe Burrow.
Give Robbie the bum. Give Robbie.
Who are you taking?
Oh my God!
Herbert, Josh Allen.
If my career relies on this, I may take Joe Burrow, but he's a bum in fantasy football, so I'll take Josh Allen.
Good, because even though I had the 4th pick, I have Burrowhead as my guy that I would have after Mahomes. It would have been tough, but I love having Joey B, dude. That's my
He's
guy.
a bomb.
Now, is this a fantasy team or is this an NFL team?
So my hatred for Joe Burrow.
We're starting a franchise NFL team tomorrow. We get one quarterback. This is who we got. We got Tom with Mahomes, Scrooge McDuck, Scott, Jalen Hurts, Rob, Josh Allen, and I got Joey Burrow. I was just curious who you would take and you still got Herbert and other guys.
Yeah. So Tom, every quarterback I've ever drafted in fantasy football, I hate him, and so I had Joe Burrow his rookie year. I hate him.
I had Joe Burrow last year, and he did not.
There's no one. I'm not sure. Well, there's one person on the planet I hate worse than AJ Dalton, but AJ Dalton. Fucking bomb. Why would I have AJ Dalton on a fantasy team? Now that's a good question. Why would
you draft him, dude?
For
Bryce Young,
I paired him with AJ Green.
I'd take a kicker. I would take a kicker over him.
Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton. Yeah, anyways, yes, I had Andy Dalton on my fantasy team as my starter, and I hate him. Not a fan of Joe Burrow. Not a fan of any Cincinnati quarterbacks. Now that I think about it. All right, boys. Baseball time. More so, Raj, Tom, let's stick to you. Brandon and I are going to sit this one out. Raj, I think your Dodgers are struggling a little bit. The Tigers are in the worst division in the sport, so anything can happen there. So, Raj, what do you look for from the Dodgers? Are they buyers? They sellers? The Dodgers are rarely sellers. So are they buyers?
Yeah. Last year, they stood pat for the most part. The Dodgers are one of the few teams that have a top 5 farm system and that are winning. All 5 opening day starting pitchers have been on the injured list. As of right now, only Urias is healthy. Urias is fat and pretty bad. Gonsolin is as well. But Walker Buehler's out. The Dodgers need starting pitching. They need shortstop. They need a right-handed bat. So they have, Artie Moreno, the Angels owner, says he would never trade Ohtani to the Dodgers. The Dodgers are one of the few teams that could make it work prospect-wise. So I'm hoping They don't do the usual value, the same thing that Anthopoulos did for the Braves, winning a World Series with Soler and Rosario, all those guys. That's kind of, he learned it from the Dodger GM. But we need pitching. We need to call the Chicago White Sox right away. We need to call the Cardinals. I don't want to steal Tom's thunder because I think, going into buyers, a team like Detroit could be one, but White Sox should be everyone's first call with 3 starting pitchers that could go. Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito, who's going to be everyone's number 1. He's a free agent at the end of the year, and he's from LA. And then maybe the great Dylan Cease, who's a free agent in 2025. They've got Graveman, a reliever, Joe Kelly, Lopez, 3 or 4 solid relievers, and 3 or 4 bats. Guys like Andrew Vaughn, who's young, under contract, but hasn't done much. And then, Tim Anderson, a shortstop who makes a lot of money, but is awful this year, would have been a great guy, ideal for LA, if not for how shitty he's been. But it should be super active. If I'm the Angels, I absolutely trade Ohtani. I call it the Herschel Walker deal. When the Vikings traded for Herschel Walker from Dallas, Dallas got about 10 picks in return. They turned that into Aikman, Michael Irvin, all those guys, offensive linemen, Larry, what's his name?
Larry Allen.
Yeah. One guy.
Bill Johnson, Emmett. Yeah.
Dude. And the other receiver, I can't think of his name right now. I'm blanking, but
Harper.
Yeah, thank you. Michael Harper. I'm blanking on everything. But yeah, dude, from one dude, the Angels can do that. And they also have Mike Trout, who's hurt right now. Irony being that if Trout's healthy, probably Ohtani and Trout stay, but they could get 15 to 20 top guys for trading these two.
Well, so my next question is, if you trade Ohtani, do you trade Trout too?
I absolutely consider it. The only issue is his value is a little less because he's hurt.
Well, Trout's the most valuable. I mean, Ohtani's the most valuable player in baseball that we've ever seen.
Yes. You're getting 2 players instead of 1.
Yeah.
But same token is, that guy goes down and you just fucking mortgage the future.
Yep.
Then what? But Tom, what's your take on this? Do you think the Angels have to trade
Wait. Question. This could be a completely idiotic question. But because we've never seen anyone like this in our future, if Ohtani throws out his arm and has to have Tommy John surgery, can you still could he swing a bat? Could he DH, or is it just nothing? Like you can't do anything with your elbow?
He would come back sooner. But
Bryce Harper had that surgery done last year toward the end of the season, and he came back in ridiculous quickly time.
All right, so Tom, the AL's what I want to talk to you about. Tigers 8 or 5 games back. I heard today on PTI, Buster Olney said a team to watch for the Ohtani sweepstakes is Tampa Bay, which kind of blew my mind that they've got the prospects, they've got the farm system, but they can give enough away, try to win this year. He's not staying in Tampa Bay, but it's a go for it, but they still have enough reserves after that to give a bunch away. So
if you're looking for prospects, look no further than the Rays. This is an organization that kind of
the most wins in the AL right now.
Yeah, well, no, not anymore. Baltimore just overtook them tonight. But this is an organization that prides itself on the ability to do scouting, and they have developed their farm system, and they've been able to do that while keeping their salary. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd lowest in all of baseball. So looking at that aspect of it, yes, Tampa Bay makes a lot of sense. It's a rental. They have the ability to say, okay, we're going to give you all these players for a rent a player, rent an Ohtani. You're going to plug him into an already stacked pitching staff. Now you throw his bat into that lineup where Tampa Bay surprisingly has hit a lot of home runs this year. I think that would improve Randy Arozarena's offensive output, you're looking at Wander Franco, who needs a spark. He's kind of been down the last couple months. He's got some disciplinary reasons. He was benched earlier in the season. So you're looking at putting Franco in front of Ohtani in the lineup. That's dangerous. That could be, just give them the East right now and pencil them in for the World Series. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. But long term, absolutely, he does not stay in Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay doesn't pay their players, especially to pay them for a length of the contract that he's going to request.
Raj, so I want to ask you this question. Your better half likes a better team than you like. Atlanta has the talent locked up till almost 2030. They have a good farm system.
They mortgaged it. They're one of the worst, if not the worst, in baseball right now.
Okay.
They're farm.
They
locked everybody up for 10 years so they can build it up, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess it's a huge city, airport to Japan. Does Atlanta make sense for Shohei, whether it's trade or I'm looking more free agency if the Angels don't trade him? Because they can pay him.
They're already at the luxury tax amount, and they'd have to trade guys that they worked really hard to get under contract. I don't know who would make sense value-wise, young guys. It would have to be somebody like Austin Riley. I mean, why would you trade, like Michael Harris? That type of guy's not going to do it. All these, they'd have to part with one of the big guys because there aren't enough of the littler guys. Maybe Strider. I don't think Elder is that great regardless, but they don't have to do this. They're good enough. They don't have to do it. Yeah, he did. They both got hit pretty good. But, yeah, I don't see that happening. That's just not how they're built and how Anthopoulos thinks. But, like Tampa, Baltimore, who's loaded, the Dodgers, who have the money and have the prospects, the Giants are another team that scares the crap out of me. So, yeah, you got to look at the bankroll and the prospects. But Tampa is one of the few that has the prospects to get him as a rental. Because I'm pretty sure everyone else is like, all right, bro, we got to sign an extension right away.
Yeah, and we'll go to Scrooge McDuck for talking about money. He has a comment, and it's going to take, I think, at least $600 million to sign him. Maybe just to start negotiation. Brandon, what do you think? You're on mute. All of this comment talk, get in the chat. I got a comment. You show up on mute.
I'm here. Sorry. Well, that's because you don't want to hear me cough in the background, So. No, I think they got it all wrong. Look, what if the players would actually take a short-term deal, like $75 million, 3 years, per year? I mean, that's a pretty good deal. Like if you
in baseball,
that's what I'm saying. Change it up a little bit. I know
some of the older pitchers have done.
They all want the longevity. They want that financial stability for a 10-year deal or whatever. But if you're trying to make a pennant or win a World Series and you come to the trade deadline and you say, all right, Ohtani, we'll take you $75 million for 3 years, $75 million a year. That's a damn good deal. And he's the highest paid player in MLB at that. I mean, is he not going to get picked up after 3 years? Of course he is.
Not if he gets hurt. Would you take $75 million over 3 years
per year?
These are guaranteed contracts, or would you take $600 or $700 million?
$225 million in 3 years, or $700 million in 10. I'll take the $225 in 3.
Oh no way! Not in a sport where you can get hurt.
That's like asking if you want the lump sum payment of the lottery, or do you want to just drag it out for however long you live?
Ask Bo Jackson. So ask Bo Jackson what he would do. He'd take the $700 million contract guaranteed because you're one injury away.
I don't.
Well,
I don't think.
you can guarantee a 3-year deal.
Well, no, all baseball contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah,
but
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no,
But
why would you not take 700 million guaranteed?
I mean, you're fishing there, and it takes a lot longer to get that deal done. If you really love the sport and you want to win a World Series and you're prime in that position, and you get an offer for a short-term 3-year, you're the highest-paid player in MLB history for 3 years, guaranteed. I would take that deal all day.
What if you get hurt?
You still got that money.
You still have $220 million. If you get hurt, you still have $700 million.
If you can find that deal.
No, that deal is going to be there. There's 100% Ohtani's going to get a $700 million deal.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, from the business side, I would offer the guy that short term, try and win a World Series.
If you could do that, for sure. Justin just said he wouldn't trade the future. He wouldn't mortgage the future for a chance of World Series. Justin, I'd ask, what if you win the World Series? Would you mortgage the future for a championship? Because, as a fan that never wins, I would take one.
Once you get one, I mean, you feel pretty good about it.
All right, we're over an hour. Let's Brandon, you and I watched Wimbledon. I thought it was a feat of strength. I thought it was incredibly entertaining. Djokovic was great. Alvarez was great. Great tennis. The crowd rooting against Djokovic. You had we'll have more time eventually get into the greatest of all time discussion, but definitely one of the greats versus this up and coming Spaniard. It lived up to the hype and more. What did you think?
It did. It was kind of so I haven't watched tennis in a very long time, and I actually sat down and watched, this Wimbledon, especially the finals, and man, how they will build you up and watch you fall, which is what I felt for Joker. Like the way the crowd reacted to him, this dude is the GOAT. Like he's the best that we've ever seen. And I mean, they just want him to fail and want him to lose. The first set, I thought it was game over. I was like, there's same old Joker. Like he's dominating. And then this Alvarez kid was phenomenal. I mean, he was fun to watch. That whole last point deal, for the match was amazing. The whole match was great. But it kind of got me back into wanting to watch tennis a little bit more. One
of the takeaways I took away from that was the first tennis match I've watched in a long time where how many servers kept losing the set.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The returns
or the game, I say the game. They kept losing the game. Like these are, and if anyone who's never played tennis before, it's extremely hard to return serves if they get it in. And at 115 miles an hour, it's damn near impossible.
Like 128, 130. And like when Joker was on his stuff, and same for Alvarez. And all Alvarez did was this little flooded, backhand or whatever, got it over. And then 2 possessions later, like returned and just killed Joker.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had the same. I was watching it, got up early, 6-1 first set, and I was like, wow.
It's like it's over.
Because this was a rematch of the French Open final, and I think Joker won in 3 or 4 sets. It was pretty straightforward. And then this, I thought the same thing. Then Alcaraz changed where he was going to attack the tennis court, and then won the second set, then won the third, got up in the fourth, and I was like, okay, it's over. Then I was like, well, if Joker wins this one, I think he's gonna win the fifth set, and it was just like this roller
Oh, it was a
coaster
roller
of
coaster.
who I think is gonna win.
Well, when Alcaraz started moving towards the net and
Yes.
really putting Joker in a bind and just nailing the shots like in the back corners, I mean, it was awesome. Like I said, I hadn't watched tennis in a while. It was fun to watch.
It's my earbuds are beeping. I'm about to go dead, and I don't have my microphone hooked up because we got a work situation going on. Raj, I know you got some points. We'll save those. We got to get to Chain's trip and then bet your nuts and final words. Chain, you were just golfing at a magnificent palace of a golf resort. So tell us where you were, how it was, and where it compared to where else you golfed.
So,
And did you wear that bow tie and that suit?
I did not. We did a little Whistling Straits in Erin Hills. Whistling Straits, Ryder Cup 2020. Erin Hills was the 2017 U.S. Open, I believe. Justin Thomas shot a 63, U.S. Open lowest round in U.S. Open history. It was just amazing. I mean, it's a bucket list trip. Whistling Straits itself is phenomenal. There are several courses there.
Who'd you go with?
So a bunch of the guys that I live with here in the Grove, our golf group, there were 12 of us that went. So we went down. We stayed at Whistling Straits.
Anyone else have a golf group?
Friends of mine do, but I don't make enough money.
Well, when you live on a golf course, you have a golf group. So that's what it is. And they plan trips, and they're extravagant. So I was trying to keep up here. It was just amazing. I mean, Whistling Straits is phenomenal, but then you go to Erin Hills, and it's like in a different country. It's like being in Ireland. Like it was one of the best golf courses.
Is Erin Hills a links course?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It's from the pictures I sent Tom. You can see it looks just like Royal Liverpool, where they're playing the U.S. Open or the Open right now. Anything in Ireland, minus the ocean view. That was the cool thing about Whistling. It had, Lake Michigan there, which, I mean, let's be honest, looks like an ocean. All along the side on a lot of holes, but Erin Hills it's all that wispy, tall fescue, kind of brown, and it's link style. I mean, bunkers everywhere. It was phenomenal. So if you ever get a chance, you're a big avid golfer, definitely put that on your bucket list. That was two of the best courses I played.
That is awesome. Thanks, Jake. Y'all pick up my mic?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So from your trip to the Open Championship, it was a rough day today for some of the players. Those sand traps might as well have been sand prisons.
God, I hit
it.
Tony Finau, we had found
John
that out.
Rahm had to hit it backward twice.
Did you see Justin Thomas on 18?
No,
bunker
I saw
to bunker.
Yeah.
Rory killed it on 18. Justin Thomas went in the same bunker Rory was. Tried to hit it out sideways, hit it in the next bunker. He made a 9 on 18.
Yeah. The opens. So sometimes the open can be a little easier where you have Tom Watson, contend, but it's kind of made for that. Hey, control your shot, don't get in trouble. And I love the U.S. Open for that reason. I love to see him struggle. Today, I had it on my computer while I was working, so saw some of it. What do you make of the first round, and what do you guys expect for the weekend? Well, and disclaimer: the weather hasn't came in yet. The weather is coming, and it's going to get windy and wet, and it's going to get nasty.
One little small disclaimer, and I'll let Tom talk real quick. There are not too many courses that have internal out of bounds lines. usually when you're out of bounds, it's like because you can't hit the ball again. This course on 18 down the whole right side is all OB, and that makes it very, very challenging on that somewhat of an easy par 5. So just throw that out there. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I just think today was the day to set your score pretty much. From what I've seen, the weather coming is good old-fashioned, what used to be British Open weather, wind, rain coming at you in all directions. I saw a graphic they put up, just the way the river runs into the ocean, the wind patterns. I mean, it just, there's no consistency. So what you're going to get is whoever wins this one is going to earn it. From like you said, the traps, which are, I mean, you could get lost in those things. It's ridiculous. The walls alone, I mean, to get out of them you got to be a good golfer. To the weather situation, it's just it's testing the best from the best. And you mentioned Jon Rahm, and Jon Rahm has been one player that has really surprised me that hasn't really played up to his ability the last couple months. I think he started the season really hot, and he's just, maybe it's the hype or what. I'm not really sure. So I look forward to him maybe showing that could be considered the top 5, which he is top 5 in the world. So, but I think one thing that this tournament will show is it kind of evens the playing field a little bit. So if you're a big hitter, that wind's going to say, not today, so it depends on what your strong suits are. So it's going to be fun to see. And as I put the leaderboard up there, those are names that aren't everyday household names. So I think it'll start even itself out as the tournament goes, but it's going to be fun to watch. It's always fun to see weather come into play with some of these big tournaments, and to see how the world's best prepare for it and then make changes as it goes on.
Well, yeah, and this is the tournament, and this is a course where, because you can attack it, doesn't mean you should attack it. Because if you want to, like, take Rory for example, you can launch it 476, whatever it is. If you don't land it, then there's no sense hitting it that far, because you end up hitting it backwards and going back forward. So I mean, it's a course that's going to be interesting. Well, all right, guys, we're at the 113 mark. People have been watching, people have been listening. They are waiting to make some money. So it is that time of the evening to give these people some literal free money.
It's time for Bet Your Nuts.
All right, this is the time of the show where we tell you guys what to bet on in order to pay the bills, to get to go gambling and golfing like Brandon does. Or even, if golf isn't your thing, you can buy you a fancy whiteboard like Raj has back there.
That's pretty sweet.
And
sweet.
If you
I do like the whiteboard.
If you were combine the two incomes of Raj and Brandon, you could have a whiteboard with a clock on it. And that is next level. All right, boys. Tom, what do you got for your Bet Your Nuts?
I'm gonna go baseball tomorrow.
Okay.
The San Diego Padres are coming into Comerica Park for a 3-game set. The Tigers took 3 or 4 from Kansas City, and they took 2 or 3 from Seattle over the previous weekend. They've been playing some pretty solid baseball, good pitching, timely hitting. The biggest run output they had in this previous series, they lost. But nonetheless, they took 3 or 4. I like the direction they're going. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Tigers tomorrow night, plus 120 money line to beat the Padres.
All right. Padres messed up my 3-team parlay today, but I cashed out for they lost. So I won a little money on them. Raj, what do you got?
2 baseball. Like last week, this guy was money. He's pitching again because it is Friday, and that's Justin Steele of the Cubs. He made me a lot of money last week, and he's minus 120 against the St. Louis Cardinals at home tomorrow. He's facing Jack Flaherty, who hearing some trade rumors, so he's probably not going to be right in the head, and they're selling. So take Justin Steele all day. I'm also going to take the Dodgers Rangers over. It's high. It's at 9.5, but you've got 2 of the top 3 scoring teams in baseball. The Rangers are number 1, 5.81 runs per game. The Dodgers are number 3.
Is this a parlay, or are you taking 2 separate bets?
I was going to probably do both, believe it or not. But I'm going to go with the parlay. I love Justin Steele straight up, so I don't want to risk that too much. But, the Dodgers are number 3 in baseball, and they're facing Andrew Haney, who was on their team last year, 6-6 with a near 5 ERA. They've had a day off, and they've been scoring runs lately, 7 runs in their last 3 games average. So take the over. Dodgers and Rangers, 2 high-scoring teams. The Braves are number 2, by the way. And take Justin Steele all day, man. That guy is a freaking pitcher, dude. He's a stud.
All right, Brandon, what do you got?
I'm going to stick with the open here, obviously. And, as much as I want to pick Rory because he just won the Scottish Open, I'm going to steer away from him. I like Max Homa right now at plus 2,000. Dude's 3 under right now. He's playing well. He's very quiet. He's on top of his game right now. I think this course sets up well for him. So I like Max Homa. Plus 2,000 to win it. I'll throw you a few little side nuggets if you want to throw a little extra money. You can't not bet Koepka because he's always there. Top 5 finish for Koepka. I think it's plus 250 or something right now. And then I like Wyndham Clark as a long shot. He did win the U.S. Open. He's playing well right now. He's 3 under. He's at plus 1,600 to win it. So sprinkle a little on him too.
All right.
That's a good pick, Max Homa. I was actually going to do a bonus nut, and that was who I was going to take. So
God,
good choice.
2 times in one night. How young are y'all? I am going to go where Brandon didn't go. I am taking McIlroy. I think he was played enough today to not get too far behind.
He's even.
He calms down tomorrow, plays smarter. He's plus 1,000. I like him. I'm going Rory for plus 1,000.
I like that pick. I mean, that's just the obvious. Everyone wants to pick Rory at this point.
Are you saying there's no need to watch an hour-long show to get the obvious pick?
It's probably the most bet on pick.
All right, boys. So we got people the free money now. If everyone will stick on for our final words, we'll give you the final words. I have my rabbit hands in this picture. Raj, we'll start with you. What's your final words?
We don't have to come back to tennis. I just thought that it was pretty funny, like the game behind the game. Number one, it was one of the most watched Wimbledon events ever. Certainly the most on BBC since Andy Murray, their countryman, won it in 2016. What the hell is that noise?
I remember Andy Murray back in the day. Yeah.
No joke, dude. And so, are you rolling a joint? What the hell is that noise?
Sorry.
But
Robbie.
Yeah, I think that was it. Anyways,
I'm not.
No, and then he doesn't like Spanish dudes. He's never going to Spain. Doesn't like Nadal, and a young Spaniard who who took the number 1 seed over, partially because Djokovic didn't play in tournaments. If you noticed, before the game, before the match started, Alcaraz lined his water bottles up in a row, which is something that Rafael Nadal does as a superstition, and so it was a little bit of a mind fuck and some juju going on there. And Djokovic, people don't like him. He's got LeVar Ball dad. He freaks out. He takes medical timeouts. He ended up smashing his racket in the 5th set during one of those serve breaks. And on top of that, the COVID thing. So all in all, it was just set up for an epic match. And there was a lot of storylines there. Novak got pissed. People thought it was great. The viewership was up. And now you got a young 20-year-old kid who could be in the –
It's his second major at 21, right?
Second major, like 10 overall major, like huge wins, whatever they call them, second Grand Slam. Whatever it is, this kid could be around for a while.
Kid's on fire. Like
he can do it all. And when
it got me excited about tennis again. Really,
it was pretty funny. And him lining up those water bottles, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Like, let's go." Good stuff, dude. Watch tennis.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, Brandon, go ahead. Take it over from there.
No, that's it. I mean, I don't really have any final words. My trip was great. I missed you boys the last 2 weeks. You guys killed it last week. Sorry I wasn't here. But yeah, life goes on, and so will we. Yeah.
Well, we're glad you enjoyed your time, and we all need breaks away. Tom, what about you?
I'm going to stick with baseball. I think we're going to see within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, probably the most anticipated trade deadlines in the last 10, 20 years, maybe ever, just with the sheer thought that the greatest player possibly to ever step foot on a Major League Baseball field could get traded. That alone is makes this just unfathomable. But I will say it here. You heard it here at 10:39 p.m. on July 20th. Shohei Ohtani is not going anywhere. He's going to stay in the Angels. I read a thing today that said that they're willing to take the risk of losing him. I think he stays, and here's why. I don't know if there's a lot of teams that are willing to go the length of a contract that he's going to demand. You're going to start seeing overall lengths of contracts start to dwindle a little bit. And let me use my Detroit Tigers as an example. They are going to be rid of one of the greatest hitters of all time in Miguel Cabrera. But they signed him to such a long contract. They were looking at the next 3 years to win, and now they're dealing with the ramifications. He is a shell of himself. Javi Baez gets a 7-year contract. He's an absolute waste. One of the worst offensive shortstops in baseball, although he's looked good the last couple of days after being benched. But what I'm trying to say is owners are looking at long-term more now than they ever have, and to risk so much, to give up so much money long-term to get a couple years of hope. I just think you're going to start to see these owners realize that long-term contracts. So I agree with what Brandon mentioned. Hey, let's throw the bank at them for 3 years, because that's the only legitimate or reasonable time that they're going to win. So give them $300 million for the next 3 years, because there's a good chance that he could win a World Series for you, because beyond that, Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah. And Brandon's negotiating from the players or the owner's standpoint. I was negotiating he's negotiating from the owner's standpoint. I was doing from the player's standpoint. It's like, I don't want $75 million. I want $700 million.
Yeah.
Right. But you look at the longevity, and this is what you're running into. And then they end up buying out players, and then you got, Bobby Bonilla Day, where you're paying players, for 40 years.
Yeah.
Well, the Angels screwed up huge in signing Rendon after he won a World Series MVP. They signed him to 7 years, $245 million, and that really handcuffed them. And they cannot sign Ohtani for a long period of time. They don't have the money. They have more money on the injured list than they do in active contracts, active players. So they really hamstrung themselves. Their farm is bottom 5 in baseball. So it's really going to come down to pride. Is Moreno dumb enough? And yes, he is, to just hold on to him and hope he stays and re-signs? Because I don't think the odds are great that happens. And they've had those two guys healthy, and they still have not been over 500. Their farm sucks. They have bad contracts. If you ever want to win something, it's not going to be there.
Well, and the top players are used to getting seeing these long-term deals. I know we're
All right.
Still,
So
I Herschel Walker him, and
we'll talk after the show.
Players.
I think my final thoughts are
Charger
a
headphones.
new era in Washington, D.C. football. And I think this was the most, not necessarily disgraced, but one of the worst run franchises that could be good and really help propel the league to however high you can imagine going. But I think it's a good deal that Dan Snyder is out and new people are in, and they are not the pieces of trash that Dan Snyder appears to be, allegedly. So I think that's good. I think football season's on the cusp, guys, and we're going to grow this thing. And so people, please like, subscribe. The football season is going to be a whole new version, not version, but just more excitement. And there's going to be better. The content, football just gets everyone revved up, and we will be the go-to place for reckless speculation, fantasy advice, gambling advice. We will start tracking our bets, our payouts each week on Bet Your Nuts. So you will see exactly who to bet with, who to not bet with, these people, and we will start making you some trackable real money where you can probably get a home loan out against. Maybe. Recklessly. I don't know what the home loan.
No, and potentially I think we're starting to get in a little bit of fantasy next week, so please stay tuned. Yes. We might start getting you prepped for your fantasy draft and let you dominate, unlike Robbie has ever done.
And well, bite your tongue. And if we're lucky, we can get a few donations. Tom and his wife will drive down and film the Jimmy's Gang draft on August the 19th on a beautiful lake in Thames Ford in Estill Springs, Tennessee.
That might need to happen. That might need to happen. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Thank you guys for watching. We are off. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same
Raj, 9:15.
He wrote it down. It's ingrained in his head. All right. Good show, boys. Like, subscribe.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Reckless Speculation. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube searching Reckless Speculation. Catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to catching you right here next week with another exciting episode of Reckless Speculation.